Welcome back to Design Bundles YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today I'm going to show you guys how to customize a birth announcement, a birth stat, if you will, whether you guys are going to be putting this on a baby onesie, as you guys will see demoed in just a second, or maybe you guys are going to make a door hanger or a sign. So I'm going to show you one of ours that's actually in the marketplace, and I think it's really neat the way that it works. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so now that we're over at designbundles.net, this is the file that we are using today. I'll have it linked down below. Now, we have tons of these to choose from, including if you guys are a Plus member of ours, we have tons of them for 1+ credit, as well as others across the marketplace. So we'll try to link a couple of them, as well as some fonts that we think would work really well with the birth announcement. So we'll do that. So this is the file that we are using today. And the way that this works is it's going to come with everything customized out, whether you want it as an SVG, PNG, if you were doing sublimation, etc. It's going to come with those files. And then it's also going to come with these files that are the letters and the numbers. So instead of coming with the font, it actually comes with the letters, so you can ungroup them, duplicate it, and create your stuff right there. Now, the really cool thing, which I'll show you guys in a second, is it actually has boxes for you to line it up perfectly. So we're going to be utilizing those today. So like I said, this is the file that we are using today in demoing. So let's go ahead and head on over to Cricut Designs. All right, so once you have downloaded your file onto your computer, like I said, it's going to come with even a PNG if you were going to sublimate it, for example, or a DXF if you were going to take it into Silhouette Studio. But if you bring in the SVG, this is how it's going to look. It's really cool because it comes with these boxes, which ultimately we can delete here in a little bit, but these are going to allow you to get that perfect placement. So I think it was super duper genius. And then you can see everything else is already out there for us. We already have the AM, the pounds, ounces, etc. Now, you can either download a really cool font, like I've linked you down below, that would work flawlessly with this, and you can just type everything out, which would be super quick. Or if you want to, keep the price down and you just want to stick with what came with this bundle, this is how you're going to use this thing. You see all these letters over here? They're all right here. All you're going to do is hit ungroup, and you're going to individualize these. See how that's separate? So now I can start to work with these. And what I would do, I wouldn't just say, okay, I'm going to take a C, I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to duplicate it. So right here's our duplicate button, and that's how I'm going to snag these letters out of here. That's ultimately what we're going to do. So I'm going to hit undo. And what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually start out with changing this to another color. I'm going to change it to white just so we can see what's going on. And actually, I'm going to do a baby blue. I just need to be able to see it on top of that black box ultimately. And then I'm also going to, I think these should be in the front. Let's test it really quick. So if I grab a letter, yes, it's going to be in front. All right, so let's go ahead and start typing out. Number one, the very first thing is on top is Sophia. Now you can use whatever name you want, but I'm going to follow the exact same name that was in the demo. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So once again, going to come down to the S. We're going to hit duplicate. We're going to drag this over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Now you have uppercase and then we have lowercase. So I'm going to come down to the lowercase, duplicate, and then drag it up here. And I'm going to show you how we're going to since I'm not using a normal font that's going to type it all out for me, I'm going to show you how we're going to get all of this super level here in just a sec. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, and I'm going to go ahead and keep on typing this out. Now, another thing I want to show you really quickly, if you don't want to just duplicate over here, ultimately you could just grab the letters to make it a little bit quicker and just go like this. For example, say I wrote out Sophia like so. Now here in a minute, if I need another I, I'll just come up to this one and hit duplicate. So you may save a little bit of time by doing it that way as well. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and start by getting these all level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select them all. All right. And then what you can do is come up to align, and I'm going to align to the bottom. See where it says align bottom? And now they're going to be perfectly aligned. Now, whenever you go to get these, you want to really pay attention to that spacing there, just making sure all of those look good. If you're happy with them, then once again, we're going to go ahead and go through here, select them all, go back up to that align, and you're going to align at the bottom. So now what we can do is we can actually size these out to fit right up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and center it in this black box. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm not going to attach anything since I'm using the letters from over here. I don't want to attach anything till the end because I need to duplicate. So I'm just going to kind of get things about where they belong, and I'm just going to keep on going. So for the next one, we're going to go ahead and type out that Grace White. So we're going to go ahead and keep on going. All right, so something I want to point out right away, you guys have probably noticed that I'm having to resize. So I did this on purpose because I wanted to teach you guys, make sure that if you're going to, number one, drag them up here and then duplicate from this area, you're not just going to duplicate them from this side. Make sure you wait to size everything out until the very end. So you can level everything out and resize at the very end. So you're not having to go backwards and try to readjust the size. Now, how do you figure out about the perfect size? Since I didn't have to resize the T, I could come in here and see the height. So my height is 1.225. So then I could go to, say, for example, my H, and I can come over here and I can go 1.1225, and then I would hit enter. And I did 1.1255, I believe is what it was. So you could ultimately get them perfect. So if you do that, like I said, just follow along, go to one of the letters here and then C. So your highest letter, if it's like this, for example, if it's your shorter one, like your C, do the same thing. Measure the height of this one and put it the same, and you'll be able to fix that easily. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and figure out exactly my spacing here. Just kind of getting these nicely here, and then I'll adjust the to make them all level here in just 2 seconds. So I'm just kind of getting these here, just making sure they have a nice width. And then now I'm going to go ahead and select all of these. And I don't need to resize these. They seem to be fitting very well anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we're just going to go to align, and we are going to align to the bottom. So once again, I could just center this up into that black box, which I'll show you to get that even more level in just a second. All right, so we have our Sophia Grace White. Now let's go ahead and work on all of our numbers here. So let's go ahead and do 230. I'm just going to go ahead and put whatever I want here. So we're going to do 230. All right, so I'm actually going to go ahead and size these down just a little bit, just to fit a little bit better. All right, and we're going to size it down just like so. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. We'll do 6 pounds. I'm going to do that here. And so I'm just going to pop it here. And if you need to adjust, once again, grab that arrow there. Perfect. So here you have it. Now, once again, to level everything out, all you're simply going to do, we're going to select the 2, the 3, the 0, align. We're going to go to the alignment, and we're going to align to the bottom. And then another thing that you could do is you could go to align, and then you could go to center and go to center vertically. And this is going to center that perfectly. So you can also do that if you wanted to. So we have that, and then we'll do the same thing here. So let's go ahead and select all of these little numbers here. And then we're going to go back up to that alignment. And then we are going to go ahead and center vertically. So that way all of those are centered. And you can just continue to do that across the board. So I think everything looks good here. Now, this is what I recommend. You go ahead and grab this. Once you're done with them, you're going to hit delete. All right, so once you have all of your pieces in, now remember, it could be a whole lot faster. This was just using, if you want to be identical to their font, you can use what they gave you, which was super easy. I mean, you just literally duplicating, or you could even duplicate the whole thing several times, and that way you have multiple. But either way, it really didn't take that long, and it does not take, it's not very hard to align or anything like that. But you could definitely just take one of our fonts. Like I said, a link down below. You'd simply install it. You would go to text right here, and then you would come up to font right here, and then you would choose your font, and then you would simply have a text box, and you would just start typing it out, which is right here. I'm going to scoot this guy over and say, for example, I was typing out Sophia just like so. If I can spell, it would be so much easier just to do that using one of our fonts ultimately that I think matches this very well. It'd be super, super quick. And then it's just going to be plug and play. You just do the same thing right on those boxes. But I definitely wanted to show you guys using what was included and something a little bit different than what you've probably seen. All right, so what I would do next is get rid of those boxes. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to get rid of all of these boxes because we do not need them. So I'm going to hold down the shift on my keyboard and we're just simply going to select all of those boxes and we're going to hit delete. So now all of those are gone. Now don't get rid of your little black eye here, just all of those boxes. And now what we can start to do is select all of these pieces. So for example, I was telling you earlier, we can select all of these pieces. I didn't get all of these, but the whole Sophia Grace white. And then if that was all one color, say for example, I could go ahead and hit attach, or I could hit weld to ultimately get rid of quite a bit of those layers. And then so on and so forth. I could go ahead and select this, hold down that shift. I could select the two, keep going. What I like to do is do it from this side. I'm going to select this, and then I will go down the row, selecting every one of these, holding down that shift, just like so. And then I'm going to select everything that's in blue. And then I can go ahead once again, hit weld, and that way it becomes one file. Now, if it's going to mess anything up and it's trying to weld pieces, then hit attach, because ultimately it's going to do the same thing. It's going to keep more layers. But when we go to make it, it's going to keep it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and click this again and go grab the rest of my colors of blue and then hit weld again. Sometimes I like to do it in sections because it's going to Cricut wants to kind of keep popping you down. You see where it's like if you're going back and forth grabbing them all, because it's such a long line, it wants to keep popping back up. Do so many, hit weld, and then grab that group again. All right, so now what we're going to do, we have a dark pink and a light pink. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab all of my light pink pieces first. So we've got pounds, and then we've got our cute little weld. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is hit weld as well. And then you see how it came to the front. All I simply have to do is click on those layers there and then arrange, send to the back. So that way we can see again. So don't freak out with something like that. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our dark pieces. So I'm going to grab this bow and then these two straight lines, which are squiggly lines. I'm going to go ahead and weld those pieces together. And then we are going to go back. I've got a couple more pieces. I think I've got one more piece of that lighter pink. I'm going to go ahead and weld it as well. And then now I'm going to grab all of those gray pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of those gray pieces like so. I'm going to weld them. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to that light pink again. I'm going to go to arrange and I'm going to send to the back just so we can see again. So we have our little pieces right here, which are the whites. So this is white, this is black, yellow, light pink, so on and so forth. So now I have all of my layers. So that's how ultimately you're going to group all those together. So when we go to cut these out, you see we have all of our gray pieces together. We have our dark pink pieces together, our blue pieces, as well as the pink, the lighter pink. The yellow is going to be by itself. And if I actually hit ungroup, those are grouped together. We're going to have the yellow, the black, and then the white. Now, you don't have to ungroup those. They're going to separate when they're on the map, but I just wanted to show you individually pieces, how those were individual. So that's how, with this particular file, using those PNG SVG versions, if you will, of the letters and numbers together. I really like the way this was. Such a great file. If you guys have enjoyed this and you guys want to check it out, it is linked down below. But once again, you could definitely use the font that I have recommended down below along with this to just make it a little bit faster. And there you guys have it. That's how easy it is to make your very own birth announcement, birth stats using one of our files. Now, there's tons of them. There's ones where, like I said, you're just simply going to use the fonts, but this may be something that you have not seen or tried before. So I wanted to be able to walk you guys all the way through that process. Once again, you could place this on a sign, you could do a door hanger, you could place this on a baby onesie, lots of different ideas. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.